Hey folks, what's going on? Welcome to Coach Gav Live, episode 54 with me, your host, Coach Gav from Kildare Strength and Fitness. So, it's been a while since we've done a video. We've been a little bit MIA for the last while. Just had some stuff going on. I've been out of work the last fortnight or so, and just been out of work and that. So I had a few things going on that have changed the outlook. Now, not too major, but what I want to talk to you about is about changes and how you need to adapt to thrive. So sometimes, well, actually not even sometimes, more often than not, situations in our lives are impacted from outside circumstances. So other people's actions, other global events, things like that then as well. And even let's say with the hurricane on Monday, where we were closed on Monday, and just like again, you're going, it's something that's unplanned. You and I can't control that. You can't control the weather. So the whole idea being is that, we spoke about flexibility with your planning before, and it all comes down to ultimately your choices. You can choose to be flexible. You can choose to adapt. So when your circumstances change for whatever reason, okay, you then need to go and right, I need to make a change. I need to do something different to get to the same goal. Or in some cases, you may need to change that goal because your circumstances have changed so much. And it's all a choice. And that's what kind of the last fortnight has definitely driven home to me, was that, okay, it's still a choice here. Circumstances change, so you can either sit around and bitch and moan, or you can make a choice to progress and to still thrive as you're going. So we've had a really good 9-month window. This year's been pretty good. We've done an awful lot of work. We've grown the gym a good bit. Physically made some great changes. Lots of progress across most areas, which is great. But things are going to happen that are completely out of your control. But what you can control is how you react and how you respond, or how you adapt to those situations. Things will never fully go ideally how you want them to, or they'll never last that long either. It'll always be, you might hit a pocket of time where things are going pretty good, your routine's going good, like the kids are on midterm holidays next week already, and that's going to be a big change. But that 1 week there, just because it's a change in that week, doesn't mean everything else that you're currently doing. So let's say if you are, you're training, or you've got you have your certain meals at certain times, or you do work in those certain windows. That doesn't mean you no longer do that work. That no longer means you stop making progress in that area. Because if you stop for that week when the kids are off, then it's going to take you some, if not all, of the following week after to rebuild or kickstart that momentum again that you had leading up to it. So if you have momentum leading up to, let's say, so next week the kids are still in school, so you still have your time for your routine. The kids are in school till 1 or 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so you're going to have your routine. Sorry folks, I forgot my eye drops today. So you've that window of time here where you can maintain your routine and structure as it is, perfectly fine. And then the week after that, the kids are off. So you're going to have to change your routine, because now that window of time that was free is no longer as free as it was. And it just means doing things a little bit different. But let's say you stop and you don't do anything for that week, you take a week off. Not the end of the world, but not great either. Because then the following week when the kids go back to school, you'll be like, oh Jesus, I'm wrecked. So you're going to lose most of that week trying to rebuild the momentum that you had just 7 days prior. So the key being, to maintain your momentum on this side of a situation, you have to adapt in the middle. For, obviously in this example it's only a week, but sometimes it's going to be more than that. You're going to have to say, okay, well look, you need to adapt and and change. Like, I mean, in the last week, all my plans have changed now again. I'm going to have to completely kind of reassess where we're kind of going with things. And again, like that, I can sit around and whinge, or I can decide to adapt my plans and try and you go about things, you know, the right way. So some things are like, because even you kind of go, oh, well, I wasn't planning for this or I wasn't planning for that. That's fine. Because there's so many things that happen in life that we don't plan for, that happen. And if it becomes a part of your reality, then it's something you need to deal with. Then it's something that you need to say, okay, let's accept it, deal with it, move on, be reactive. Of course, if you're watching the channel a good while, if you're on the page or you're training with us, you know that kind of we're all about being proactive. But sometimes you can't be proactive. You got to be reactive, and the main thing is just to stay active at all. So proactive is the best, reactive is pretty fine. Maintaining some kind of level of activity or activeness is the minimum. Inactive is a killer. And you know, it just means, you know, you're gonna have to, like it says in the title, you have to change. You have to roll with the change and go, okay, it's like you see it with in sports the whole time. Fighters pull out of fights and people get new opponents. Okay, gotta change and adapt for this new fighter. Football teams, okay, well, here's my starting 11 or here's my lineup. Someone gets injured, you're going to have to change the lineup, you're going to have to change your tactics based on who you have there. So when your lineup changes on a day-to-day basis, you know, you're going to have to react to it, going to have to change to it. You can't just sit there and be like, oh, this isn't the way I wanted it to be. Because guess what? For so many of us, that's not how things go. Things aren't going to pan out how you exactly want it to. Think of all these Coach Gav Live, you know, all these things. This is something I've had to change my schedule for and start introducing. All the podcasts that we're doing, that's something different then as well. As the gym gets bigger and we get busier, I'm going to change our systems so it becomes more effortlessly, that they run with greater ease. As opposed, you know, it's different training 36 people as opposed to training 3 or 6 people. So, and these are all things that, you know, you need to adapt to that as well. So, and you'll have often heard, you know, kind of adapt or die being kind of the slogan or the catchphrase, and that's reasonably true. But let's flip the point of view now. You know, adaptation or adapting, yes, it will prevent you from dying off or prevent you from falling back. It'll also allow you to thrive, to excel, to grow, to get from good to great, to get from great to excellent, to get from excellent to world class. You know, and it's just a change, because so many of us, we fight and we claw and we scratch to try and hold on to an ideal that we have. No, this is how it was. You know, I need to do this. I'm after picking up, you know, like let's say if you pick up an injury, you know, you're gonna have to change your training. You know, we have a few of the girls and guys in here, they get injured playing football or playing sports, whatever. You have to adapt their training. You can no longer go, okay, well, here's what you were doing before you got injured, and when you're recovered, we're going to pick right the way up then as well. You can't do that. That's foolish. That's reckless, okay? And the same goes for you. You go from having no kids to having one kid. You got to adapt. Okay, you got to change your schedule. Your life has changed in a very big, noticeable manner. You're going to have to change. You go from 1 kid to 2 or to 3. Your schedule changes again, so you're going to have to roll with that too. It doesn't mean, just because your situation has changed, doesn't mean that you can no longer achieve the goals that are important to you. You may have to modify them. You may have to change the approach, change the layout, absolutely. But it doesn't mean you pack up and you give in on you pack up and give in on the whole thing altogether. So that's something to be aware of and to watch out for, is that, you know, again, we've spoken about flexibility mainly from like a nutrition point of view, of being able to kind of roll with things as things unfold differently. So it's great to have a plan, and it's great to have a routine and a structure, absolutely. But have a routine and a structure that can bend, you know, so have it bend but don't break. Don't be so rigid and stuck to something that the slightest change just goes psh, and you can no longer maintain it. You lose all the progress you've been scooping up or building up then as well. So adapt and change, do things in a different order, do things to a different quantity, a different level, a different standard to maintain that momentum. And then if and when you can pick back up on the pathway that you were, go back from there as well. So like even one of the guys here, Mark, broke his leg last year. Mark was squatting huge numbers, and then when he broke his leg, even just a standard bodyweight squat, sitting down, standing up, caused him an awful lot of trouble. And now Mark is back, he's fully healed, he's back training then as well, and we've had to, like the $1 million man, we will rebuild him, we have the technology. We've had to rebuild his training, and that was a change. He had to adapt to it, and he could have very easily just sat around and whinged and moaned and bitched and go, oh, my leg is sore. He did a little, because Mark's a bit soft like that. But skipping and joking aside, like I said, but now he's picked back up, and it's nearly a year since. Well, it's about 9 months, 10 months since he sorry, I heard a noise. Since he broke his leg, and he's still not quite back to where he was. But that's a reality. He didn't plan on his leg being broken. He didn't plan on having to be in a cast for, I think it was like 3 months altogether. He didn't plan on having to do all the rehab work. He didn't plan on having to readapt and readjust and recondition his body to get used to having all the weight on him when he was squatting. But now that he's done that, he's getting back to where he was. So, and like that, he accepted, saying, hey, wasn't part of the plan, but it's a part of my reality. My words, not his words. But, and like that, because he had done that, because he adapted, he rolled with the changes, he reacted and then was proactive. He said, okay, well, here's what's happened. Let's get ahead of the curve here. And now he's almost back to where he was then as well. And the same is going to go for you. Something's going to happen. And it could be a case of, your financial situation changes. Your financial situation changes, or your living accommodation changes, or something in your life will change, and then you need to roll with that. You get less hours of work, you get more hours of work. Something happens and you need to respond to it. You're not just going to sit around and be like, oh no, it wasn't like it used to be. Guess what? Me at 30 is different than me at 29, different than me at 28, different than me at 27, 26, 25, and so on and so forth. Me today is different than me yesterday, and the me of tomorrow will be different than the me of today. Jesus, the me of later on today will be different than the me of right now. The same goes for you. So kind of longing for what was in the past is a really, 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 really good way of wasting the moment, wasting the now, wasting the present, as opposed to going, okay, what can I do right here, right now to help progress myself forward physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, sexually, religiously, financially, legacy-wise, any of those areas. What are you doing in this moment? Are you giving this moment the best of your attention? Let's say someone you're working with is out sick, and then all of a sudden you have to do their workload as well. Shit, that wasn't part of your plan, but what are you going to do? Okay, well, I'm going to work as best I can. I might have to spend less time on my own stuff and spread it out, but the quality of everything will stay the same. Someone you're working with gets sacked, you take on all of their work, or you get demoted. All of a sudden you go from 40 hours a week to 20 hours a week. You go, shit, what am I going to do? I've got less time, I have the same amount of work, I have less finances coming in. What do I do? My bills are still the same. Okay, you got to roll with those punches then as well. It's like having a deck of cards sitting here, and you just need to deal with them as they're turned over. You know the deck of cards is there. You know anything is possible realistically, but you don't know what sequence they're going to happen in. Sometimes the cards will unfold in life in a really positive, beneficial, hassle-free manner, but other times they're going to unfold in a way you go, oh crap, ah shit, and that's going to happen. And sometimes you go, good card, not so good card, crap card, not so good, not so good, not so good, average, fine, great, whatever. These are all realities, okay? And reality has gotten bastardized in the last few years, last 10 years maybe, because reality TV, all these reality TV shows, are the furthest thing from reality. Everything is set up or staged or refilmed or edited to give you the impression of something. And that's just unfortunate. But again, that's the way things are. So, roll with it. That's pretty much it. So I'm not too sure what way my schedule is going to go with Coach Gav Live for the next while. I've got a couple of other things that have popped up that need my attention a little more. But we will be getting back with it. Also, episode 29 of the Coach Gav podcast, we talk about nutrition, kind of nutrition 102. Because we did a poll over on our Instagram, today's Thursday, so Tuesday we did the poll, and asking people just some basic questions about nutrition. And one of them was, do you believe that you should avoid certain foods to lose weight, change your health, change your body shape? And surprisingly, a lot of people were like, oh yeah, you should avoid certain foods. That's not actually the case. But head on over to the iTunes, download the Coach Gav podcast, listen to episode 29. I'll also link it on the page here later on today for you guys to listen to. It will give you an insight into how we handle nutrition here with our guys and girls. Alright folks, take it easy. Remember, end of October is only a couple of weeks away, but don't worry, don't wish away the rest of November and December and the rest of 2017. Okay, you may not be able to make up for the goals you had at the start of the year, but you absolutely can make, there's like 10 weeks, 9 weeks left in the year. That's a load of time, okay, to get your shit together, either to make some progress. Let's say you lose £1 a week for the next 9 weeks, that's £10. That's just shy, well, it's almost a stone. And I'd have you consider, for most of you, losing £9-10 is fucking great. Also, you're going to learn the habits to set you up to lose £9-10 every 10-12 weeks throughout 2018 and beyond. So you may not lose all the weight you want to lose right now, but you might learn the habits. And when I say might, I mean absolutely. If you put in the effort, you'll learn the habits now that you need for 2018 and beyond. Take it easy. I'm off to collect my little girl. I'll talk to you hopefully tomorrow. We'll see how things go. God bless, folks. Oh, hey Lisa, good to see you too. Close that button, turn that button off.